guys, welcome back to Teaching with Tania. In this video, I'm going to give you guys an update of my student teaching placement because let me tell you, it's been a lot. But I've made it to the first 8 weeks by the grace of God, and I'm going to tell you guys all about it. Let's get straight into the video. For those of you guys who don't know, I am student teaching right now, and it has been a whirlwind of assignments, of emotions, and of days that I literally thought I wasn't gonna make it. And on top of that, what made it worse was I wasn't only just student teaching, but playing a collegiate sport on top of that made it super difficult. And I think, I did day in the lives and I'll post them above, but it was some trying days. Like if I had an away game and I didn't use my time wisely, then I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure my lesson was spectacular. And on top of that, I realized how much at the beginning I was a perfectionist and realized that's not the reality of teaching. While yes, this lesson is as best as it can be right now, knowing that tomorrow or a week from now, I may come up with another idea or find another activity that may work better for a different student. But going back to like the first few weeks, walking into student teaching, playing basketball, I knew it would be hard. And a few other people have played like field hockey, all the other stuff, but playing a sport while student teaching is like 0 out of 10 recommend. Not only, well, I got through it. And if you are, I don't want to advise you against it. Like if you are really determined and can manage your time, go right ahead and do it. Just know that you're going to be exhausted. You're going to be exhausted and mentally drained because like you're there all day with your students, and then you have to like change your mind or like switch your mindset like, oh, I'm in practice, and you barely have any energy to give in practice, let alone you may have a game that day, may have to leave early from school like I did and attend a game if it's an away game or if it's really far away. 3+ hours in a day, it was a lot. And looking back, I don't know how I did it. Literally had to be the strength of God, because I realized that I was in over my head by like week 3, and I wasn't even taking on everything at that point. I just knew that to give myself, to be the best version of Tania, I had to rearrange like my whole schedule, and that's why I missed some uploads, because I just had to buckle down and literally focus on the student teaching, get everything done for that, make sure that didn't slip, and then make sure I had everything ready for my seminar class, make sure that didn't slip, and then make sure I was fully prepared, physically ready, mentally ready for basketball games and all that in between. By the way, if you haven't checked out my senior day basketball video, that was like the last day, the wrap up for that, which like 2 weeks before I took on my full week of teaching. And even though it was like bittersweet, like God knew what he was doing. Like I hate losing, but at the end of the day, I don't know how I would have mustered up the strength of a mustard seed to just get it through that week. But the amount of prep, time, energy, effort that went into it, like I barely had time for myself, literally. That's how I could see how teacher burnout is so real. But anyway, I'm ranting right now, but I'm going back to my experience and just updating you guys on how my experience went. It was really tough. There was days where, like I said, I had to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning. But at the end of the day, it's just a season of sacrifice. And my experience, I probably wouldn't trade it for the world. Would I probably do it again? No, but it was a good experience just to know that I am capable of doing anything I put my mind to. And even though like I had to put YouTube on the back burner, I was still able to manage my time well with school, student teaching, seminar, and basketball, which was a lot. So at first, I wasn't too fond of getting first grade again. But once I met my cooperating teacher and we started to get along, and the students melt my heart, and I couldn't imagine being in another class without them, and realizing like there's a reason, like seeing the growth that has happened since the first week I was there to like this last week I was there. I have seen tremendous growth in the students, whether it's the behavior or academically or even socially, like things that they would do that was not okay and they didn't realize it was okay. They're now like having that self-correction and self-control to realize, hey, I don't need to be doing this, or whatever we've been working on in that student, just to see the growth, and that has been tremendous. And that's what makes teaching rewarding, when you know and you see the kids that are worth it. To know if I didn't change this, if I didn't nip this in the bud now in first grade, who knows where it could have escalated to, or how it could have affected this kid when it's an adult. When it's an adult, how it could have affected him because they didn't learn this in first grade. I kind of touched on this earlier, but basically the name of the game to student teaching is time management. Having time for yourself, having time for friends, having time for socially and your loved ones. It's all a juggling act, to be honest. And I don't know how teachers do this and have real lives at home. It is absolutely crazy. But like I said before, you do find ways to get through it, even though other people may look at us like we're crazy. At the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that you make time for what you want to make time for. And yeah, that's that. Through these first 8 weeks, I've learned so much about myself and what I'm able to handle as a teacher, things that I do want to continue to do, things that I don't want to do in my classroom. It's just like a learning experience for me and my co-op, because she's never had a student teacher before and I've never been student teaching before. And I cannot appreciate her love and flexibility enough. Like, she's been amazing for that, and I cannot thank her enough, especially when I was struggling and I didn't have to turn in anything late. It was just that I didn't realize how much of a mental toll it would take on me and how much of a physical toll, because my feet were on fire at the end of the day. My feet were on fire. I had body aches. I'm a collegiate athlete, so I have to be in shape. And to teach all those days and still be in pain, like I literally just didn't want to, my feet didn't want to touch the ground when I got out of the car sometimes, just because you're walking, taking them here, taking them there to specials. And it's like, how do y'all do this? And people do it for 20, 30 years. It's crazy. So the last thing I'll leave you with, because this is what I didn't expect with student teaching, is early mornings and late nights. And that means like getting up early, even though I never had to do that. Some of you guys may have had to do that. I've never had to do that. Wake up early just to make sure everything's prepared. And just as a teacher, you have to be like there before your kids. And then also prepping and collaborating with your cooperating teacher late at night, or like late hours after school, like almost working 10 hours. And when I was in season, I wasn't able to do that and give my all. So thankfully, like I am able to do that now and going into my next 8 weeks. Usually it'll be like the kids left, they all survived, they're safe. Okay, great, I'll see you tomorrow. I have to go to practice. But now I can really like take in and be present in this moment and give my students literally all I have, because I could go to sleep at a certain time and wake back up and do it all over again. Now that I have completed my first 8 weeks, going into my last 8 weeks is crazy. I graduate in May. Like, wow, I'm almost done. But going into this next 8 weeks, now that I know how to do it and what is required of me, and I have less on my plate, well, I still have a lot on my plate, but basketball is not as big as a commitment now. I can focus on being ahead and staying ahead. That's one of my goals. I love goals. If you guys didn't know, I did a goal video at the beginning of this year of what my goals were for this year. So I love setting goals. So you guys can watch that video to figure out how I set my goals and yeah, what they look like. But anyways, my goals for these next 8 weeks is to get ahead and stay ahead on top of block planning, materials, grading, all that. I don't want to fall behind in anything. And it's not that I was behind, but I feel like I could just never breathe, because I personally like to be a week or two ahead, and that just wasn't the case for me. Speaking of block planning, my next goal is to get better at block planning. I was never really taught to do that or figured out a system that worked for me, so I am eager to learn my own style of block planning and stick to that. That will help me be more prepared. And goal 1 and 2 they kind of go hand in hand. But I'm super excited because I get a break. I have not realized how much teachers do need a break, and to go on spring break and to come back rejuvenated, just to kill these next 8 weeks and then head to graduation. So that's my update for student teaching as of now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace.